Hello and welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm pleased to be joined by Matej Zatlkaj. And Matej, we've been talking about the modern format, and we're doing these little primers. One of the big decks that everyone predicted for this tournament, probably a lot of people guessed was going to be the top deck in the field, even though that might only be 10 to 15%. It's such a crazy field, is Abzan. And a deck that, ostensibly should have gone away with the banning of Birthing Pod. What's the appeal of the Abzan deck without Birthing Pod?
The problem was Birthing Pod was a really bad matchup for the Abzan deck because they just had so much value. In Voice of Resurgent, Kitchen Finks, Siege Rhino, you kind of do those things as well, but they just gain a lot more advantage with Birthing Pod, which is really hard to kill. So banning Abzan, Birthing Pod just opened up the door for Abzan and made it much better than Junt, the version with red, which was mainly good against Birthing Pod.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at what the modern Abzan deck looks like. Let's take a look, walk through what the early game is going to be, and this has never changed, has it?
No, this is the bread and butter of Abzan mid-range. Turn 1, you want to discard their best card using only 1 mana. So either it's a cheaper card, or it costs you 2 life, but it's fine. Usually it doesn't. The 2 life don't matter, or the Conveyor Marcus Thrillless is usually not as relevant either.
Right, you're pretty content to open the game on 15 life.
Yeah, unless I know I'm playing in Seth Manfield.
So to take the best card from the hand, they've made some tough decisions about a mulligan, and you're like, nope, surgical strike, take that card away from you.
Yep, pretty much.
See it later.
Yeah,
okay.
pretty much. Yeah.
So that's your early game. Disrupt them.
Yeah.
Mid game, what does that look like?
Mid game is more disruption and value.
Yes.
I would say.
A recurring theme. In
a recurring theme is deck because this deck is really good at trading 1 for 1, and it's trying to use some the synergies between the cards to push it over the top. One of those synergies, Dark Confidant on its own with all the removal spells. You 1 for 1 your opponent, but you keep drawing an extra card every turn, so you're sorted on that front. Liliana is also great because both +1 discard and -2 sacrifice are very relevant in different matchups. So it's good against creature decks as well as control decks as well as combo decks, and it works out really well with Lingering Souls.
Yeah. Are the Jund decks sad? Do they feel jilted by Liliana? She was such a staple of the Jund deck, but really has turned out to be an all-star in Abzan as well.
It's so much better in Abzan because of Lingering Souls, because it's such a value card. When you're both grinding each other out, the one who can use 1 card to create 4 creatures is the king.
Sure, and you can also, discard the Lingering Souls. If you have to discard a card and just get 2 counters, 2 creatures at the end of that. Okay, so that's your mid game. It's value. It's trying to grind them down. Yeah. And then how do you wrap things up? How do you finish things off in the end game?
I like me some fatties. And Siege Rhino and Tarmogoyf certainly some of those. Tarmogoyf is a staple. I still think in this format, turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2 Tarmogoyf is one of the best clocks you can put up. And Siege Rhino in new edition from Constant Tark here, it's great out at closing out the games. Just play it on turn 4, and it's already a big swing. Gives you life for your confidence, so you don't die. Right. And also, the trample is very relevant because you can get over chump blockers and finish the game quickly.
I mean, it seems like such a consistent deck. What are the decks that are going to prey on a deck like this? Like, if I'm going into a modern, PTQ, what do I want to be playing if I want to beat Abzan?
The biggest problem for Abzan is either decks that rely on Ursulance or Tron. Red-green Tron, blue-white Tron, all these decks are pretty well positioned because you don't interact with lands that well. So they can easily ramp up to mana. But also some unconventional combo decks can do really well, especially in game 1. And I've seen in this tournament, it looks like some teams are packing Infect, which Jund is good against, but Abzan is a little bit worse. But you do get Lingering Souls. So I think these kinds of decks you can beat Abzan. But the thing is, after sideboard, it's never easy.
Nothing's ever easy after sideboarding.
Abzan can beat anything if it wants to.
Okay. There you go. So for Matej Zatlkaj, Brian David Marshall, signing off from the Tournament Center.